So I want to bring you guys a software that I use to bulk rename my files. Here, I'll show you guys what I do. So there's this file called bulk rename utility. Okay, so this is the program. Okay, this is how it looks, and you can get the program at this website. So bulk rename utility, and this is the website for it. So you can just go ahead and download it here. Situation. Go to this drive, go to my MP3s. I'm gonna go to hip hop. Actually, let's just go to hip hop entirely. Actually, no, let's go back to rename. So it's searching for the files that exist in this folder, 1607. Okay, that's how many files live here. Okay, so we come across this file that says intro-clean. I don't want that. So I don't want that in any of these files. So what I do here, I go down to replace, go here, I'll type it exactly as that. Intro-clean. Okay. It doesn't matter if it's capital or not, because you can match it if you want to be exact, but in this case, if it's capital or if it's a lowercase, it'll rename it. So I leave it like that, so it just doesn't rename the ones that are capital or lowercase. It'll rename either or, capital or lowercase. Okay, so what you want to do here next is you want to select the files. Okay, so as you can see here, it already caught one, so this one here. Okay, so you don't want to select one by one. You want to go here and you want to go to end, all the way to the end. So I selected all my files in this folder here. So we're gonna replace this with, what do we want to replace it with? So we want to replace it with intro. So let's spell it right correctly first. So intro and then clean. We just want to get rid of that dash. So it shows me here, this is the name and this is what it's gonna be renamed as. So let's look. Oh, there's another one. So there's another one. Whatever is green. So you see it's green here. Let's see, let's keep scrolling down. Well, you get the idea. To execute, so we're gonna replace and we're gonna rename. So let's rename. All right, so 107 items processed. Okay, so it looks like there was 107 files in here with that. Okay, that's how we'll rename it. So also I want to do the dirty version. So intro-dirty. Okay, and we want to rename that to intro dirty. Okay, so we're gonna scroll up. I don't see anything here, but it's too much scrolling. So what we're gonna do is make sure replace intro-dirty with intro dirty. And let's press rename. So there was only 8 items. So let me show you guys now. Let's say you want to rename anything in your hip hop folder that's named like this. You want to rename it like this. In order to do all the folders that exist under the hip hop folder, so not that one, all of these folders, you'll go to your main folder, so your root folder for your hip hop folders. Okay, because if you go up here and you select that, it'll select every file in every folder, but we're working in hip hop today. So hip hop, and we want to go down here, filters, and where it says subfolders, you want to check that. So now it's going to check inside hip hop and in every folder. And let's see, 3,000 objects selected. Okay, 4,000. So it's going through all the files in every folder. And what we're doing to those files is we're replacing intro-dirty with intro dirty. And then we'll change that to clean clean over here as well. But first, let's do this naming. So 14,000, 15,000, 16,000. So I do have quite a few. So we'll return once it's done. Okay, so it's done. So we got 22,000 files, almost 23,000 files. So we're going to scroll down just a bit. And so these are all the folders, and these are all the files that are in the folders. So remember, we want to select, so select your first one all the way to the end. So it's selected. It's going to select all of them in just a bit. All right, so we selected 23,000 files for 22,835. So we're going to replace intro-dirty with intro dirty. Rename. So 81 files are processed. So we want to do the same thing to clean. So intro, that happens because if you have files selected, it's going through them as you're renaming. So what you want to do here, let's ignore this for right now, and let's just select one file, so it doesn't have to process the files all at one time. So, and this is just for renaming this. We're going to select one file, and it's going to let us rename here faster. So intro, clean, and clean. Okay, so now we can select them all. So select all. So it's selecting all the files. Okay, so we selected 22,835 files in hip hop, which includes all of these folders here. So we want to replace intro-clean with intro clean. Process 148. Great. Let's process all the files. This also works if you want to delete certain things. Like for example, let's just select one file so the system is not slow. All right, so we selected one file here. Okay, so replace intro dash clean, intro clean. Let's erase this. Let's replace, for an example, let's say all these files at the end had something like replace. So we want to do replace DJ123. Okay, so let's say at the end of this is said DJ123, DJ123, DJ123. Let's say, that's what it said. You want to replace it with nothing. So it can, it'll replace this section here with nothing. So it'll make your name, the file name shorter. So replace DJ, whatever it is. Okay. Or let's say you had something that said, I don't know, whatever, just it had something you just don't want in there, and you had many files that had exactly the same thing. Let's say it said DJ edit, and you want to get rid of that on all the files, and you want to replace it with nothing. Then you'll do this, and I will replace it with nothing, so you'll get rid of that. Or if you want to replace DJ edit with DJ, let's say DJ remake edit or anything like that, you'll be replacing this with this. Okay. Or if you want to replace that with a smiley face, you can. You'll replace this with that. All right, so let's get out of replace and let's go back to the hip hop, and let's uncheck this so we don't have everything checked. We're gonna work in hip hop and we're gonna work in the no year. So objects, there's 1600 files. Okay, so let's say here there's files that are all capital. I probably don't have any because I go through this often. So, but let's pretend there was. Let's see if I can find one. Okay, so BOB, that's all capital. That might not do it. Let's check. So I'm just gonna select one file, and same, instead of the case, instead of the same, I'm gonna do title. Let's see. So no, that won't do it for that. Or I want to do everything lowercase. Okay, so now that will be lowercase. Let's select some more. Select, I wanted to do all these. See, it's selecting and it's making them all lowercase. Yeah, but I don't want to do that. So we'll just leave it at the same. Okay, so you can do this. You can change the case. What I usually do is I select the files I want, and then I select title, so that like in this case, it saw that this had FT. Actually, what happened here? Let's see. Capital. This wasn't capital. Okay, so it made it capital. So that's what it does. So title, it'll make it capital. Let's select all, and we're selecting title, and let's rename. So 120 files. So it did that to 120 files. So 120 files, the first letter of every word was in capital, and it did that to 120 files. Okay. So also another thing we can do is that let's go over here. So we're gonna get out of the hip hop folder. We're gonna go into a Latin folder. So let's say we go into our salsa folder. Again, okay, so we're looking in the folder and it has all those files. Okay, and remember, if you want to look in this root folder and all the folders are underneath, you can check this right here and it'll look at all the folders. But now we're just doing salsa and we're doing what's in that folder. So we go here, select a few files. Actually, let's just select them all. Okay, so we're selecting them all. We're gonna reset this. We'll leave it at the same. Okay, because we're working over here now. So the remove section, this remove section. Okay, so a lot of Latin files have accents, and sometimes when you're searching for the file, you don't type the accent and it won't find it just because the file has an accent. So I like to get rid of accents because I don't look for files and I don't add accents to my files. So accents I'm going to remove. As you can see, looks like there's no accents because I have already ran this. So it looks like there's no accents. Okay, fine. So it won't rename anything. There's no accents here. But if there was, this would be dark, and then you press rename and it'll show you how many files it renamed. But another thing, once I'm in here, if I am removing accents, I might as well remove double space. So anything that has a double space, like if it's featuring double space, it has an extra space in there, it'll remove it. So these two are the ones I usually check if I'm removing these things. So double space, accents. That's what I do there. Rename, and it'll process the files. So let's uncheck these. let's move over to add. Okay, so let's say you have 10 remixes that you did, and let's just pretend that these are the remixes you did. They're named like this, but you want to add something to every file. Okay, so you can add to the beginning or to the end. Okay, prefix to the beginning, to the end. These I'm not going to show you. Don't worry about that right now. So just remember prefix or suffix. Okay, let's just work with one file. So here, this file here, we want to add I don't know, 30 version. So you'll see it'll add that. You have to add that space. So space. So it adds 30 version, and it'll add that to every file that you select. Okay, we're not going to select any. So let's get rid of that. Okay, same with suffix. Same thing. So with suffix, usually you want to do a space and then do DJ edit by me or whatever you want to add. So as you can see, it says this, and you can add it to as many files as you pick. Okay, see, it'll do it to folders too, but we're not doing that. And if you do not want that extra space, you can go ahead here and get rid of it. But as you can see, it just doesn't look nice for these files. So, but if you have this file here, it looks okay because it's just not there. But I usually like to leave that space. That's what you can do with add. Get rid of that. But just remember, once you select it, you tell it what you want to do. Either remove, replace, case, add, and then you select rename, and it'll show you here how many files it renamed. Anyway, so that's it for today as far as these. I usually don't use anything else. So as you can see, there's certain things that you can do to your files and do it in bulk. I use replace, I use case, I use remove, and add. I usually haven't messed with anything else. At first I just started with this, then I moved over to using this. Over time I had a case where I had to remove something, so I started going into this box and I learned this box, and then I went and learned this box, and then eventually there was a case where I needed to select one folder and select all the music that was in all the other folders, and I learned to go and add this subfolders, and that would select this file with my main folder plus all the folders inside of it. So that's how you rename files in bulk. Okay, so just a little warning here. If you use this program, you are renaming the files, okay, the file name. So if your program uses a database and it remembers a certain file name, once you rename it over here, the database here is not going to know that change. So for example, in Serato, you'll get those question marks. So you'll have to consider those files as new, or just find them over again and reattach them to your database. But this program is also helpful for other people. For example, people who do work with pictures, videos, and other types of work. But just remember, if your main program that you use, Photoshop, Serato, any program that you use for your files that has a database, remember you're renaming the file, so your database on the program you're using will not know that change.